flippers. They have 3 small claws on each flipper. And it's not unusual that you'll come by later on in the afternoon, particularly after maybe they've had a big meal, and they will be out napping. They love their naps. And when they wake up, they might be all dried out and a little bit itchy because they do have fur on top of their skin. And you'll see them bring those claws around and scratch under their chin, scratch their shoulder, wherever that itch might be. Those claws are really useful for that. Now you'll notice that several of our keepers will be using kind of this stick with the ball at the end. That's what we call a target pole. And the purpose of that is it acts like an extension of the trainer's arm. And the animals know that where that ball goes, that's where their head is supposed to go. And so it helps us direct them and keep our trainers on the land and still allow us to direct the animals as they move through the water. Now you'll notice, as Callie is out here, that she has these long whiskers on the front of the muzzle. And those whiskers are really important if you're a sea lion because sometimes you walk under the water and you still want to be able to find your prey and figure out where you're going and not run anything. And those whiskers are very sensitive, and that helps them navigate through the water if it's a little bit dark.
Oh, okay. It's swimming really fast.
Now, as you see our sea lions jump in and out, you'll notice that they can move very quickly on land. They're very quick as they swim through the water, but they're also very agile on land as well. And they can kind of make almost like kind of a running jogging motion across the rocky beach. And where they would naturally be found on the west coast, it would be a rocky beach. So this is pretty much like home for them. Now, as we talk about, as I mentioned, those large front flippers when they get their power, as they're coming through, notice how she's using the flippers to move. And when they come out and do those flips, they're getting that speed in the car again with those flippers. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. They're very agile on land. Now they get 3 meals a day. This is the lunchtime meal. Our demonstration later on today will be the last meal of the day. And they get several different types of fish. They're getting squid, herring, capelin, and butterfish. They get an assortment of those at each and every meal. And then we cut them into small pieces, and that helps us with our training. Because we use positive reinforcement here at Kazoo, so every time they do something correct, they'll hear an immediate sound, that whistle, and that whistle is the fastest way we can tell them that, yes, you did what we asked you correctly. And they know after they hear the whistle that food is coming very soon after. So it looks like little Sophie here has come up. Sophie is trying to help out Mom, apparently, do her work. Callie is Sophie's mom. Sophie was born at the Pittsburgh Zoo last June. She's still young. She's got a little ways to go before Sophie is big and strong as the other sea lions here. A full-grown female will get to be in the ballpark of about 200 to 250 pounds. But the full size of each sea lion may be a little different, just like with people. There's some bigger people, some smaller people. The same applies to sea lions.
Oh, she got it.
Now, just like a teenager or a young kid that you might have in your house, Sophie likes to come through and make a little bit of trouble here and there. But it's fun to come out and here, run and play and move around. Summer and Callie, they're both 7 years old. Sophie's about a year. And Sydney, our other adult sea lion, our other female, is 3 years old. As I was mentioning, we use positive reinforcement here at the zoo. They do things correctly. They hear the whistles and they get and then if they're not behaving properly, what we generally do is put them in a timeout, similar to what some of you might do with some of your kids at home. And if they know that there's still fish in the bucket, they find that very irritating if we're not paying attention to them, not working them, and giving them additional fish. So generally, we put them in a timeout, we come back, and then they're a little bit more motivated because they want to finish out that bucket and get all their fish. Now, the sea canines actually do a variety of swims. You might see some of the other trainers doing some of the other swims. They'll do an underwater swim, which you'll notice their torpedo-shaped body helps them move through the water very quickly. That's another adaptation they have for being great swimmers. They're also very flexible. They can pretty much touch their nose to the back of their flippers, and that allows them to make some quick twists and turns as they move through the water. They also have a porpoising swim where they'll swim under, they'll leap up to the surface and get back down. And then they can also swim along the surface of the water. And remember, these guys do have lungs like we do. They need to come up and breathe air like we do. So they'll need to come up to the surface at some point as they move through. So it looks like several of our keepers are just about done with their buckets. They're finishing things up right now. So we're going to conclude our demonstration right now. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, I'll hang out here for another minute or so, but otherwise enjoy the rest of your day at the zoo. Bye-bye.